right, guys. Well, we are here at GenCon with Robert from Mayfair Games. And you guys have a lot of stuff coming out right now.
Yep.
One of the games that we are, of course, quite interested in, we believe it is at GenCon release, is Extra Extra.
Extra is a new release, and it's actually been out for about a little over 2 months.
A little over 2 months. What can you tell us about, I mean, we know it's, of course, a newspaper game.
Well, it's about publishing an extra edition of a newspaper, in a way, and about getting your copy out. So you're actually having to hire reporters. You got to pay them payroll every turn. Now, you send them out to do different jobs, and there's a lot of opportunities for different jobs. The basic game, you're collecting article fragments, which we'll call copy for this purpose, right? And your photographs, and you're trying to build big articles that are worth more victory points, and you get to play Tetris with your actual players. You're doing this, and then you have the advanced game, and you have interviews, stringers, line runners, and different articles. And the game will take, in the basic form, about an hour, about 15 minutes a player to play. And it comes in the 3 to 4 version and 5 to 6.
Okay. And then as you guys were working on getting this game out, were there any just big challenges initially, or is it just a fairly smooth game comparatively? What did it kind of look like, the development of Extra Extra?
Well, the development took a little over a year. And the designer's name is Andrew Bond. And we suspect his brother's name is James, and has a really cool car, but it maybe not. You never know. And Andrew was really great to work with, and we started off, he gave us this deluxe game, which, if you play with all the components, probably weighs in the 6 to 7 pound range, and takes 3 hours plus to play. And we looked and went, right, we got to make this work. So we did the introductory version, which gives you all the mechanics, and you actually get a lot of the same feels. And then you realize that, oh my God, if I can send my workers over that way and pick up all these extra parts to enhance the articles. So the back and forth with him was great. He published a really nice set of designer notes on BGG, which is cool. And the game itself has taken off quite well. Challenges? Not too many. He's an easy guy to work with. Okay. Really smart guy.
Yeah. And you mentioned he brought this deluxe product to you guys, and you guys are known to do some special editions. Maybe say like a 10-year Catan 3D or 20 years. Is there any plan to maybe release a deluxe Extra Extra in the future?
Oh, I don't think so yet.
Okay.
That would be you do a super edition like that that's going to cost you 2 employees, 7 chickens, and 5 ducks. When you have a really large market to deal with. I mean, Catan, wonder how many of those 25th anniversary editions will come out in a few years, right?
Yep.
Are they going to be milled out of pure porcelain? Perhaps made out of soapstone by lovingly crafted shark fins? Who knows?
No.
But you do the Super Deluxe versions when you know there's a big enough market. A lot of times it'd be cool, but to do a single or 10 versions, probably not. This game, though, has done very, very well out the gate. You know, people were telling us that you shouldn't do newspaper games. Newspapers are dead. You should make that like a website game. We're like, ew.
Yeah.
Because honestly, websites, that's just like one long page. Oh, I'm going to print my page out of the website. 67 pages. It's one sentence. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. The lure of the newspapers, we managed to capture. I think behind me someplace is the actual art from the cover behind the registers over there, right? We got an artist that could do Norman Rockwell. Oh, wow. So we could capture that whole 1920s, 30s feel. Inside the game, we use the textures of icons, similar to images seen during the Art Deco era and the end of the Art Deco era. So we could capture all that texture and everything, and then it's a nostalgia feeling, right? Yeah. It feels better. It's more cool.
Yep. And fun fact, my day job, I work at a newspaper.
I'm so sorry. Have you been cut yet?
Shockingly.
They need to hire better art writers.
Yeah.
They're going the wrong way. Newspapers, man, they're cutting staffs and stuff like that. They should be
that's sad but true. But I know it's a game that I've explained to a lot of my coworkers, and they've shown great interest. Because there isn't much really in terms of newspaper games.
So Brian is going to take pictures of his guys playing an extra in the newspaper with the newspaper headline behind it, and we'll publish that picture someplace.
So this is going to happen. You heard it here first.
Because that'd be cool.
Yeah. But speaking of just some of the special editions and Catan in general, you guys released a 5th edition of Catan this last year. What was kind of the thought process going into that and saying, hey, let's update this game?
Well, there's a couple of things. At one point, we had no access to the art that the German Cosmos, who controls the rest of the licenses for Catan, had. We really didn't have access to that artwork. So we did our own, and then we did 4th edition. And the Germans have copied what we did to the tiles and changed everything in 5th edition. We both have the same artist, the artist that Klaus wants us to have. And so we also fixed the trade dress by making the game standard-y instead of landscape-y, so they're now portrait. They line up on the shelf. We get this great wave of product. We restock numbered them in complexity order. We step the even-odd numbering if you're a retailer out there, so that even numbers are extensions, odd numbers are expansions. And it's actually already increased sales. So we're looking at it, though, from the standpoint that we did a lot of the material changes in 3rd edition, and 4th edition, sorry. And we did it because they were needed. So when we did we had to do a price increase and everything anyway, because our margin eroded because we did improvements to 4th edition. And good time. Good times.
And then you also have been doing a few more expansions as well. I believe the last one was it the Pirates?
Exploding Pilots?
Yes, Exploding Pilots. You heard it here first. Exploding Pirates coming to a Catan near you.
Explorers and Pirates is a little more complicated than Seafarers. So in the new stock number range, it's 3rd in line. It released last year. Now, since we've shifted its position, also it's gestating. In other words, more people have played it and talk about it and do things. It's got a program learning system with 5 scenarios. That's the most recent new product, except for the new travel edition, which is being shown here. For the first time on the North American continent, we have stock number 3103, Catan, the Traveler Edition. Yep, plastic board, fold out, multi-form actual playing surface, mimics the Family Edition 6-piece, so you have the flippable tiles, peg-in parts. There's little drawers built into it, so you can actually look at the little components and peg them in. Tiny little cards. And the dice are in a little container, so you can shake it and you don't lose them on the airplane.
And do you have any other expansions that you're looking at down the road then at all? Or are you focusing more on some of the new product, such as the 5-year mission, extra, or what's...
Well, 5-year mission is a Star Trek license, right? The game is a 100% cooperative game. And, of course, the 5-year mission involved how many away missions? Wait, I'm wearing a red shirt. I'm going to die. Sorry. Which is not Catan, of course, right? So it's still CBS licensed. And it's also next generation. So it's classic and next generation characters. 7 of them. 7 brave souls going forward now. I don't know what it tastes like, but it's green. Sorry. And being 100% cooperative, it's actually extremely well balanced. There's a lot of tensions in the game. A lot of things happen. Some of the away missions require a sand timer to be plugged up to run. Some of them are prime directive missions. They must be completed first, or they automatically fail. You fail 5 missions, you've lost the game.
Okay.
The Enterprise blows up, well, you have not won the game, right? So, 5-year mission is going to be a home run. No two ways about it. Extra is a really solid, heavy gamers game. It's $65 retail, so it's heavy. Right. We have a game here called Isle of Skye. I'll be about the Isle of Skye of Scotland now, eh? And so it's got this game and its history. There's 5 chieftains that warred over this island because they all thought it was theirs. It probably belonged to somebody else, actually. And it has elements of tile laying similar to something like Carcassonne, except it also has money management, enemy calculations, screens, but you're only building your own kingdom. And variable victory conditions that'll change every game. So it's really slick, real tight game.
So, I mean, you guys have a lot of new products coming out, which is always exciting, and you're supporting old product, so there's something for everyone. But you mentioned in the 5-year mission that it is a collaboration with a Star Trek license.
It is.
So how did that work? Did you guys approach Star Trek? Did they approach you? How did that come about?
Well, actually, the designer designed 2 games. He designed a game based around the explorations of Captain Cook. And then he took those mechanics and he put a Star Trek skin on them and made a couple of tweaks. And we looked at them both and I said, this Captain Cook game is so cool. Well, doing the Star Trek game. But the mechanics are so tight. You roll dice, you flip an away mission, you get to choose whether it's blue, which is easy, yellow, or red. Unless the ship's damaged, which means you may only be able to choose yellow or red. You're going to flip an away mission and roll your dice. And hopefully some of those dice are going to match requirements of that away mission. If not, it stays there, so you don't clear it. The next person is going to draw another away mission. Could be a cascading mission that causes the next color to be pulled down, right? And then that could cause another cascade. If all kinds of things go wrong. Every demo we do, a lot of times, well, not every demo, but a lot of times in the demos, everything starts off easy. People are like, well, this is easy, and all of a sudden, oh my God, we're all gonna die! And there are also things in there that cut off all communications between players. I can't tell you. You're all stressed now. We're not talking to each other. I can't go. You have a special ability and you forget to use it because you're so stressed. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah. So then with a lot of these, with a lot of these games, from what we've played, there's a lot of playtesting, a lot of development that goes in the back end. So for Mayfair, what does that look like for you guys? Do you have a team of playtesters? Do you do a lot of your playtesting in-house?
Well,
How does that work?
I have to tell you, though, the A team involved Hannibal Smith and a guy named Face, and there was... wrong A team. Anyway, we have a development studio in Charlottesville, Virginia, where much of that happens. Our first gate, the guy that looks at games and chooses whether to take them to step 2 or ask for step 2, he's in Michigan, right? So we have a number of people that actually look at product and parts and pieces, and they pass a number of hurdles before they actually go into development. And it could take anywhere between 2 months and 6 years for a game to come to life. Sometimes there's something wrong with the game and nobody can really identify. It doesn't feel right. You're playing the game, there's just something not right. All kinds of things. It just doesn't feel right. It's about, all this is about the experience, right? So if it doesn't work, sometimes it goes back to the designer. He can't figure it out. Well, he couldn't figure it out in the first place. He would have fixed it before he sent it to you. And it comes back around, and then one day somebody's going, oh my God, if we do this, and then it fixes it, and you're like, okay, so it goes in the queue. So development's a trick. It's an art and a science.
Yeah. So how many games do you guys generally have in development? So right now, for example...
Too damn many.
Like, do you have any games that you are hoping to get to GenCon that just aren't quite GenCon ready?
We have 2 games that missed print windows because of component, not so much component issue, but final. One was a final art issue. The other was verification of assets. We have a game that's licensed from WGBH in Boston, who's the oldest public broadcasting network. They own Masterpiece Theater. Oh. So they came to us and they said, we want games based on our IPs. They own 29 different shows. Yeah. So we had a game that was in development, which is a murder mystery game.
Okay.
So we do this game called Mystery, and it's that final scene in a film noir. But they were telling us we could use art they didn't have complete license on. So we get to the end and they're like, ooh, we're sorry, we told you wrong. And we're like, okay, stop! So it won't be out for a couple of weeks because we had to stop and go backwards. This stuff happens on licenses because sometimes that art's so old or this is so old. That game's coming out. It's called Mystery. It's that final scene in a film noir where I think you done it, man. You did it. You killed him.
I can guarantee it wasn't me.
Okay.
But there's a guy over there in a Batman costume that looks really suspicious.
I really liked your dog, so I killed him because he was mean to your dog.
I can forgive you for that.
Okay. Well, that's the kind of game that's set up as. Actually, you ask questions. You don't actually ask questions. You play cards that allow you to manipulate the value of the value of the guilt or it's not clue. The suspect's validity. Okay. So, and the other one is called Booty. Arr. As in pirates, booty. And the cover has got female pirates on it, divvying up the spoils. And our tagline in ads has been, sometimes the biggest fight is after the battle is won. and it is a game, a quartermaster game, where you're dividing up cards and you're offering pieces to people, often things they don't really want, so they can get something they do want. And that'll be coming out in September.
Okay, and then I am intrigued. You mentioned, this the theater series games. Is this like a whole series of games? Or you're just working on the murder mystery game right now?
Mystery. The next one we're working on for them is Antique Roadshow.
Okay.
Which will come on next year for the anniversary of Antique Roadshow.
Okay, and so do you have access then to all, you said 29 shows of theirs? Or is it kind of like...
We haven't even looked at them all.
Okay.
We're talking some pretty obscure stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the next big show, I believe, will be Essen. Do you guys have any big news that you're looking forward to for Essen, or is that still a bit beyond your guys' radar right now?
Well, there'll be a new Mayfair release at Essen. Will be a game called King Chocolate. So we all know that chocolate has 6 steps in its production process. And this game is about utilizing your limited number of actions and playing tiles in such a way as to screw up your opponents and make maximum use of your limited action abilities. But the tiles are actually made up of 2 hexes, so they're little bow ties.
Okay.
And there can be one process that's the same on both, or it could be 2 separate processes out of the 6. I'm trying to make a zone and control that zone at one or more steps of the process. Mm-hmm. You can't vertically integrate. You only have 4 control options. Okay. There are 6 steps. So I might do something nasty, like say, for my action, I'm going to grow my 7 chocolate field and make 7 new chocolate beans. Mm-hmm. And my friend Brian here will then look at me and say, don't you? And I will say, oh, look, my 7 chocolate beans have arrived in Brian's drying factory, which is 12 spaces. So now Brian is like, you rat. I have 5 spaces, not good. Which might get filled up by somebody else, right? Like Sean here.
Yep.
Or they might not. Mm-hmm. And then, but to make your factory slightly less effective. Mm-hmm. So I maximized mine. Mm-hmm. Or you can make your factory so big it can never be effective. Mm-hmm. And that can happen too. So this is a really cool game. 45 minutes, tile laying, limited actions, making chocolate, King Chocolate, the sweet path to profit.
I love all the subtitles. I have to be honest. It makes everything that much better. But one of our big demographics, a lot of people that watch our stuff, we have a lot of independent game designers. And they often ask, how can they get their stuff viewed beyond just other independent designers? So let's say some of them wanted to submit an idea to you. So for example, with Extra Extra, how did that guy bring his game to the table to the point where you guys were able to look at it?
Well, there's a submission process on the website, and I recommend you follow it. I don't remember the exact steps of the process these days, but Alex Yeager is the first hurdle guy. Okay. And if he thinks the concept is viable, he'll ask for rules. If that works out, then he'll ask to see a prototype. Mm-hmm. If that works out, then a group of people play the prototype. Mm-hmm. And then it's got a shot at making the cut group. Mm-hmm. And then sales and marketing looks at it and says, look at that. Stalinist Russia moving people to Stalin's death camps. Probably not going to sell well. Let's go on.
Yep.
Or the Great Plague, where you get to play a rat and kill thousands of people in villages. Probably not a good market. Comes with real rat feces. Not going to work.
And then looking at your guys, I mean, you have quite a library. What % of those are designed in-house versus designers bring them to you to look at?
Well, there's several. I mean, there's several things that happen. One could say that Star Trek's 5-year mission is an in-house design because David Witcher has been with us for years as a volunteer, and he plays games with our guys up in Michigan that are up there regularly. And, so it's kind of in-house, and there have been discussions that we kind of need this kind of thing. And he pretty much delivered that. Sometimes it's things like James Ernest and Mike Slinker saying, we got this really cool game, we think it fits your line. And we look at it, and sometimes it's, yeah. Other times I think, yeah. We'll get back to you on that, Mike, yeah. But, it could be a known designer, like Leo Colavini says, hey, we got this that might fit you. And we look at it and go, no, that's the wrong company, dude. Or it is. And it does. Yeah. Then the next thing is, how heavy is it? Because we try to produce light, medium, heavy. Mm-hmm. every year, right? Something for everybody, and that's tough. That actually is what my guys. I'm melting. Where was I? Oh, and then sometimes you get a guy that gives a good pitch, via the email process, or runs into to Alex at a show or something and gives him a good pitch and isn't too obnoxious, and we end up looking at it and going, But the criteria to get published is for us to say, wow. Mm-hmm. We're old, jaded bastards, okay? I've been in the business come August 5th, 30 years plus.
Wow.
We have old men doing layout and design. I'm giving Ron a hard time there. And so it's really hard sometimes to make us go, holy crap, this is a really good game. Because we've played so many games. Yeah. So when we're doing part of the criteria is, would you pull it off the shelf? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of games that I don't mind playing them, but I'm not going to go out of my way to pull it off the shelf and say, let's play this game. Yeah. You'll go, oh, what do you think about this? Okay. You like it? Okay, fine, I'll play it with you. But I'm not going to go looking for it. And so we have that. We try to set those criteria that this is really a top-notch design. Mm-hmm. It's got this synergy to it, or it's got this feel to it, or it's got this texture to it that you just go, this is just so cool. When I call it a ballet. When the ballet starts to happen and all your stuff is starting to move by itself, and you're like, this is just hot. I got my machine running. We're making money. We're doing this. We're doing that. Those are criteria for the game, right? And then the other thing is, make sure that it's play tested all the way through with people you don't like. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. People you think are nuts may find something wrong in the game, and you're not going to like them any better now than you did before, right? Yeah. Because your group will play with a certain number of patterns, mm-hmm. and it's breaking those patterns that becomes helpful. Sorry to rain on your parade, guys. There's only so many dollars out there.
Yeah. Now I really want to see, one of the Brunos or Tuber or someone create a game about the plague, just because I would like to see what would happen.
Is that a flea on your arm?
All right, well, it looks like this was my last interview. You'll find me in the ER of the local hospital. My final words for my family is it was fun, and wear bug spray.